Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome to another vlog from Ted's Vlogs. I'm talking today about something that's been basically on my mind for some time, and it's from my workplace, something that I noticed from the youth here, and that is being in a state of heedlessness. Heedlessness is also something that we mention in Islam, and the term for it is called ghafla, to be heedless of what you're doing, to not really pay attention to what's going on around you. It's something that I picked up on because a lot of my students, almost all of my students watch popular media. They will watch the latest films, the latest TV series. But aside from the most popular TV series or the absolutely most popular movies, students really can't recall the names of what they watch, whether it be movies or series, and they also can't remember the names of books that they read. And I find this something that's actually quite concerning. Now, of course, if you have issues going on in your life, you could be distracted, and I mean, we all have that from time to time. I oftentimes can find it to be a little bit, difficult to be living in the present moment. That's something that I work on. But I don't know what you would refer to this as besides heedlessness. I mean, there's not living in the present, and then there's just really being on cruise control for a large part of your life. Now, if any of my students are watching this, don't feel bad. I just encourage you to be present. If you watch something on TV, or if you're watching a movie or anything, you should know the name of it, and who's starring in it, and what's the message being told to you, especially if you're watching foreign films, which most films are. This kind of concept of not knowing what you're reading or what you're watching is something very alien to me. Now, I did mention that the students will be able to recall popular films. Assalamu alaikum, guys. The only popular films that they can really recall are horrifically Saw, and the other film being Titanic, and I think Avengers. Some of them know Avengers. They can tell me the word or the name of the movie by heart. And when it comes to TV series, the go-tos that students do know are Prison Break and Breaking Bad, for better or for worse, guys. So that's the first part of what I wanted to talk about today, is that if you're living life, you should know what you're watching, and you should know the name of it if you can, and you should also know who's in it, and take the time to know the authors of the books that you're reading and the names of the books that you read. And unfortunately, a lot of my students don't read any books, whether Arabic or in English, aside from Quran. Many of them read Quran, but besides that, they don't read any other books. So I would encourage them to read books and to watch movies if they're trying to learn the language, and to know what they're watching and to be present in the moment. Guys, something else that's kind of cool here is that quite a few local and international brands have started popping up in these little box shops along the highway, and that will bring me into my second short point of the day that I'll come to as soon as I come to the place I want to show you. But on the left here, if you're in this neck of the woods, I would definitely recommend checking out Outer Burgers. They're definitely not out of burgers, but they are one of the coolest spots that you can get a burger from here in Riyadh. It rivals like anything else that I've had. Now, the line that you see lining up for the fast food chain is not Outer Burgers. It's actually for another brand here, which is Samulaji. I'm not really sure what Samulaji is, but it looks like some kind of breakfast food. All right, guys, now awkward position here, but this place right behind me, Elket, is a place that I'm not a fan of. I'm actually a fan of the place that was here before it, just a few weeks ago. And it brings me to the saying of Patrick Carolche. I heard on his podcast, he oftentimes would say and close his podcast with, "Support what you love or it will go away." Support what you love or it goes away. Meaning, of course, if you really, really like a product, if you really like a podcast or something that's locally made and produced, support it by giving your capital to it. Give your money to those institutions, those businesses, and those restaurants. And in my case, there was a place here called Durma. It had the most fantastic Turkish ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. Without exaggeration, it was wonderful. And unfortunately, surprisingly, it's no longer there. I mean, there were quite a few people that were shopping there when I was there, but it's just one of those moments that you realize, or you don't realize, that the last time that you were at that place will be the last time that you'll ever be there, because it will just never be open again. So unfortunately, guys, one of the places that I love the most, I can't really show you because it's no longer there. So in general, if there's a cafe that you really, really love, or a restaurant that you love, or any kind of art, or anything that you love, or the work of an author that you really love, support it, because you never know what that person may be going through in terms of financial ability or inability. And that brings me to the one last point I have. There's a beautiful, guys, if anybody's watching from the Philippines, especially in Zamboanga City, there's a wonderful cafe, roasteria called Taza Coffee, or Taza Coffee Roasteria. I can't remember the exact name, but Taza, if you search Taza on Facebook, you'll pull it up. Taza is one of the best, not just one of the best cafes in Zamboanga City, it's one of the best in the country. And the community that they build around coffee, in terms of production and in terms of cultivation, it's one of the best communities, perhaps, in the English-speaking world. I can't speak on behalf of Japan or other places, but Taza Coffee is something special. And it actually is, I mention it because one thing that disappoints me is that I find people from around Zamboanga City would line up for like Starbucks or other like really like popular, quote unquote, popular commercial crappy coffee houses, whereas they have a jewel. They have like a jewel in their city that they should really, really, really be supporting. So guys, if anybody's watching in ZC, support your local brands, especially Taza Coffee. And I think that's where I'm going to close the vlog today. I'm going to finish my walk. I was at the gym earlier, so I apologize if any of this is shaky. And it's a beautiful late November. It feels like summer in the United States, but it's a very hot November morning here in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Take care, guys. Salam alaikum. Be sure to like and subscribe to this vlog if you like what you saw. And be well and keep in touch. Salam alaikum. Bye-bye.